When I first saw the title of this article, it almost struck me in a very film-like way. Jacob Rees-Mogg appearing in Opportunities to Do Damage. It really did seem like a film. But Jacob Rees-Mogg is now obviously the minister in charge of Brexit opportunities. And as we've said before, if there really were any Brexit opportunities, we would have been hearing about them non-stop. Since we, quote, got Brexit done. But we really haven't been hearing that. And indeed, in my opinion, I think that very recently Jacob Rees-Mogg's attempt to reach out to the people of the Sun saying, oh, please give me any ideas of the Brexit opportunities that I can do, is merely a facade so that when he, again, goes on his deregulatory and slashing agenda of getting rid of all the regulations from workers' rights to consumer protections to environmental regulations to again, as we've already covered just a couple of months ago, the deregulation of the UK chemical transportation stuff, which could lead to some very worrying consequences, especially for the environment and public health. Are just, shall we say, can be justified because, oh, don't worry, Susan from Dorset told me that this is the regulation that she wanted to get rid of, which would give her a Brexit opportunity. Again, it's going to be pretty much, shall we say, blanketed this deregulation regime as, oh, it's not me that's doing it, it's the will of the people that has decided that this is what they want to do, when it is going to be anything but. We know he is on a massive deregulatory, shall we say, he's going to get drunk on it very quickly. But needless to say, we'll go diving into this article and find out more about, shall we say, his massive opportunities to do damage to, well, the British economy. Oh, pardon me. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Pardon me again. It's all the drinking all those Brexit opportunities. So, as always, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link to buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people who help do support the channel that way. So, on with the show. Like I say, this comes from The Guardian with the title of The Guardian View on Jacob Rees-Mogg, Opportunities to Do Damage. If Boris Johnson's recent reshuffle had an overarching purpose, it was to show the Conservative MPs that the beleaguered Prime Minister was listening to them. This is the perspective in which the most eye-catching ministerial move, the appointment of Jacob Rees-Mogg as the Minister for Brexit Opportunities, should also be primarily seen. Mr. Johnson wants his MPs to be reassured that his faith in Brexit is undiminished and that he has installed another ardent leader at his side after the departure from Lord Frost. What, of course, is less clear, though, is exactly what Mr. Rees-Mogg is there to do. He is simply not taken over from Lord Frost, whose responsibilities for negotiations with the EU were then transferred to the Foreign Secretary Liz Truss, but Mr. Rees-Mogg's extended job title does give a clue. In addition to his Brexit promotion role, he's also charged of the government's government efficiency. And Mr. Johnson is said to have told him to have a draft and action plan with over at least 1,000 regulations we want to get rid of. And of course, what might these burdensome regulations actually be? On the Cabinet Office website, there is still a blank under the heading of responsibilities. On the first day in his new post, Mr. Rees-Mogg was reduced to writing an article in The Sun, which he asked readers to suggest EU regulations that they would like to see abolished. But in that very same article, he made clear his own view of Brexit opportunities is largely about economic and financial deregulation. He wants, he wrote, to lead a drive to scrap obsolete laws, to diverge from EU rules, and to cut the red tape that binds your hands. This is the very familiar stuff of the referendum campaign. But in the recent 6 years since the vote to actually leave it, it has proved very vacuous and a dishonest approach to policy. The reality of Brexit in farming, fishing, road haulage, house building, medicines, care homes, and among others, is to say nothing of the commercial links with Northern Ireland, has been more law and less rules and more red tape. Sorry, more law, more rules, and more red tape, not less. all derive from Mr. Johnson's desire to appease the fanatics like Mr. Rees-Mogg by leaving the free trade agreements of the EU. And of course, at the end of January, the government then proceeded to produce a very glossy 105-page publication called The Benefits of Brexit. The report is full of inflated and unsubstantiated claims, but celebrates 4 categories for change as a very clear benefits for Brexit, which are in fact no such thing. Some are changes which the UK could have even made as an EU member. Others are intended as a result of Brexit, but again are disadvantages. The third group are again unlikely to be even ever made for practical or even competitive reasons. And there is, of course, the final category. That is, of course, as Professor Stephen Witherall of Oxford University puts it, little more than pie in the sky. Mr. Rees-Mogg's very own view of Brexit opportunities is deregulation. His goal is to reduce the legal constraints on employers, markets, and wealth. This is perhaps not surprising given that he is a major shareholder in an investment firm, Somerset Capital, which specializes in the engaging markets in which he is now tasked with finding Brexit opportunities for Britain. Again, quite the conflict of interest. But this is, of course, at odds with Mr. Johnson's own commitments to levelling up and to the higher levels of government spending. And of course, Mr. Rees-Mogg's appointment may be primarily aimed at trying to stop Conservative backbenchers from ousting the Prime Minister. But this could actually do a lot of serious social damage in this role too. So overall, highly suspicious, and as I said there, a very, very large conflict of interest, considering that he is still, of course, one of the lead investors in Somerset Capital. Again, trying to engage in these emerging markets, again, which is tasked of trying to exploit these Brexit opportunities, to say the least, a bit worrying. But as I said at the beginning, the fact that he wrote to the people of the country, not only laying out his main aims, which was, again, let's just get rid of all this financial deregulation and whatnot. Let's just get the ball rolling and just let the venture capitalists and vultures start circling. And well, any business that folds or goes under, that's just the market at work. It doesn't matter that 1,000 people have lost their job, etc., because that's just the market at work. As I've said before, small towns up in the north, if they did have such a catastrophic job loss like that, as 1,000 people losing their jobs, the economies of the north, and even one town in particular, would struggle very, 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 very quickly to try and even fulfill those people who lost their jobs. So there is, as the article didn't even mention, there is a lot of opportunity to cause a lot of social damage here in his role as the Minister for Brexit Opportunities, which, again, we will have to keep a very, very close eye on when he finally releases his own report of these 1,000 regulations that we want to suddenly get rid of. But as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a donation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can, buy me a coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.